Hare Krishna, thank you for joining. Let's continue. We'll start with the Radha Madhav and then we'll do verse 6 and 7 of chapter 2 today. Jai Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girdhari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girdhari Yashodanandana Rajjana Ranjana Yashodanandana Rajjana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanchari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Om Gyantimridasya Gyananjana Shalakya Yakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Staptam Yena Bhutale Swam Rupa Kadameyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuttapadakam Shri Guru Vaishnava Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathamritam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Krishna Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shivishakam Vituscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kant Radha Kant Namastute Tapta Kanchan Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavan Vureshwari Richavano Sutadevi Pranmami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpa Tu Brihescha Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Patitana Pavnebhyo Vaishnavbhyo Namo Namo Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasti Gaur Bhakt Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Mukham Kroti Vachalam Pangum Langyate Girim Yat Kirpa Tamham Vande Shri Guru Dintaranam Paramananda Madhvam Shri Chaitanya Ishram Hari Om Tassat Narayam Namaskritya Naram Cheva Narottamam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayam Uduriyet Ashtapesha Abdureshu Nityam Bhagavad-Sevayā Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Nishtaki Hari Hari Bol. So let's make a start to go to our verse. Right, so this is verse 6. Saiva pumsam parodharmo yato bhakti tokshje ahutiki apratihata ya atma suprasiddhati. Sa means that, by certainly, pumsam for mankind, parha sublime, dharma occupation, yatha by which, bhakti devotion service, adokshaje onto the transcendence, ahautiki causeless, apriti hata unbroken, yaya by which, atma the self, suprasiddhati, completely satisfied. Savai pumsam parodharmo yatto bhakti dokshaje ahutiki apratihata jayatma suprasiddhati. So the supreme occupation, or which is our dharma, for all humanity is that by which men can attain to loving devotional service unto the transcendental Lord. Such devotional service must be unmotivated, must be uninterrupted to completely satisfy the self. Now, Srila Prabhupada explains that Saivai Pumsam Paro Dharmo. Prabhupada explains about the Paro Dharmo. That's the supreme occupation, as mentioned here, Parodharma, for all humanity. Not just for one group of humanity, one group of people, one color or caste of people. This is occupation for everyone, every living entity, in fact. But unfortunately, the other living entities cannot follow it. They don't have the intelligence and the consciousness, but the humans do. So if that's parodharma, what is aparodharma? Because we have other dharmas as well, but this is the highest dharma. There we have so many other humans. We have so much responsibility. We have so many dharmas, right? So there's aparo dharma as well. So not so high dharma. So for example, we have desh dharma. Right? We have some duty to our country, our region. And there's jati dharma, what social groups we belong to. We have some responsibility there. Kul dharma of different families, which kul you belong to, or maybe caste system. Ashram dharma of different ashram, and istri dharma. So the wife has certain roles. She has certain dharma. It says istri dharma. Or a female, has certain etiquette she needs to follow. Same with the man. He will have his dharma that he needs to say. So husband and wife, she will have some responsibility. The husband will have some responsibility as a husband. She will have, although nowadays they do tend to overlap, but they have certain dharmas, or at least in the Vedic times, they had dharmas. The husband would provide and the wife would look after the house. Or as they say in the English, hunters and gatherers. The wife would gather and the husband will hunt. But nowadays, yes, it does overlap nowadays. But yes, there is certain, from this for Vedic perspective, there's certain dharmas for the man and the woman. So Varna dharma. So that's Varna and Ashrama, as you know. So again, it's mentioned. The first was Istri Dharma. Now it actually does specify Patani Dharma and Pati Dharma as well. And then you have Raj Dharma and Rashtra Dharma, which I think a little bit similar to Desh Dharma, like that. So Raj Dharma, Rashtra Dharma. But anyway, you get the point that we have so many obligations. We have so many duties to perform. We would have to have so many etiquettes in life. As human beings, we have so much responsibility. That's the point. Then he says, Yato Bhakti Adokshaje is that by which men can attain to loving devotional service unto the transcendental Lord. So follow the Dharma of the Supreme, and you can attain loving devotional service unto this transcendental Lord. And what should be the quality of that service, that which is the supreme occupation? That service should be ahutiki apritahata. That such devotional service must be unmotivated and uninterrupted. Ahutiki apritahata. What is my intention? Do I have my own motivation? And what am I looking for? Am I doing this bhakti because I'm in distress, or I want some kind of opulence? Am I looking for money? or we want like good family, children, like that. Will we look for the material, or is it just to please Krishna? Because that is the highest motivation, to please Krishna. Because like for it, and then even like as a devotee, if you're neophyte, your motivation may be to go back home to Godhead, because you've heard that to get out of this cycle of birth and death, you can go back to Godhead by following this service. But that is not the highest motivation. The highest motivation is to serve, please Krishna. That is the highest motivation. So highest service is this supreme occupation is to please serve Krishna, and highest service, I guess, then would be to please Krishna. Serve Krishna, please Krishna. Ye Atma Supasiddhati, and that would completely satisfy the soul, because that is the constitution condition of the soul. That would completely satisfy the self. And Prabhupada mentioned that the body becomes satisfied, the mind becomes satisfied, the soul becomes satisfied, and the Lord becomes satisfied. So by this, everyone is satisfied. The self, the body, the mind, and the Lord, the soul and the Lord, they both come satisfied. So complete satisfaction can be achieved only by prosecution. I think means persecution of devotion service. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu mentioned that prema pum artho mahan, the supreme gain of life is to how to be situated in the platform of loving service to the Supreme Person, God. That is the actual perfection. So yeah, so this is what we're going to do, but how we do it, that's what we will learn, or at least that's that's our motivation. So in the purport, in this statement, Srila Sutta Goswami answers the first question of the sages of Naimisharanya. So what is the ultimate duty? The sages asked him to summarize the whole range of revealed scriptures and present the most essential part so that fallen people or the people in general might easily take it up. So let's read that again. The sages asked him to summarize the whole range of revealed scriptures and present the most essential part so that fallen people or the people in general might easily take it up. So we need the most essential part. We can't be going through everything and following everything. We need the essence, and we need it to be made easy for us so we can follow it easily. The Vedas prescribe two different types of occupation for the human being. One is called the pravritti marg, or the path of sense enjoyment. So the Vedas give you everything. They give you the path of sense enjoyment, and the other is called the nivritti marg, or the path of renunciation. Now, the path of enjoyment is inferior, and the path of sacrifice of the supreme cause is superior. The material existence of the living is a diseased condition of life. So that is not our normal state. We are diseased, we are conditioned in this state. Actual life is spiritual existence or Brahma Bhuta existence, where life is eternal, blissful, and full of knowledge. Material existence is temporary, illusory, and full of miseries. There is no happiness at all. If there is any happiness, that's like just imaginary, very temporary, very fickle happiness, or at least what we consider happiness. There is just the futile attempt to get rid of the miseries, and temporary cessation of misery is falsely called happiness. That's what Srila Prabhupada is explaining. So when we're not suffering, we think we are happy. and then we're suffering, and then we stop suffering, think, okay, now we're happy, there's no suffering. Well, that's not like only temporary arrangement. Suffering comes back again. There's always something around the corner, and we all have this something waiting. Therefore, the path of progressive material enjoyment, which is temporary, miserable, and illusory, is inferior. But devotional service to the Supreme Lord, which leads one to eternal, blissful, and all-cognizant life, is called the superior quality of occupation. This is sometimes polluted when mixed with the inferior quality. Okay, so that's probably like Mishra Bhakti, we try to enjoy and serve at the same time. For example, adoption of devotional service for material gain is certainly an obstruction to the progressive path of renunciation. Renunciation or abnegation for ultimate good is certainly a better occupation than enjoyment in the diseased condition of life. Such enjoyment only aggravates the symptoms of disease and increases its duration. Therefore, devotion service to the Lord must be pure in quality, without the least desire for material enjoyment. One should therefore accept the superior quality of occupation in the form of devotion service of the Lord without any tinge of unnecessary desire. We can't stop desires, but there shouldn't be any unnecessary desire. Desire that does not help our bhakti should be avoided. They are known as anarthas, fruitive action and philosophical speculation as well. This alone can lead one to perpetual solace in his service. We have purposely denoted dharma as occupation because the root meaning of the word dharma is that which sustains one's existence. A living being's sustenance of existence is to coordinate his activities with his eternal relation with the Supreme Lord Krishna. Krishna is the central pivot of all living beings. He is the all-attractive living being, entity, or living entity, or eternal form, existence, amongst all other living beings or eternal forms. Each and every living being has his eternal form in the spiritual existence. And Krishna is the eternal attraction for all of them. Krishna is the complete whole, and everything else is his part and parcel. The relation is one of the servant and the served. It is transcendental and is completely distinct from our experience in material existence. So, this is always the fear that, we have to be eternally servant and just keep serving, non-stop, just serve. So nobody wants to serve. Husband doesn't want to serve all the time. Wife doesn't want to serve. She wants a break. Husband wants a break. And then how can we serve internally anyone? Well, first of all, you need to have love for that person, a lot of love. And secondly, it's transcendental service, not material service. So it's a different it's a different thing altogether. And also, Krishna serves you back, just more than you serve him. And also, remember, there's 5 types of rasas, not just servantship. There's friendship and parental and conjugal as well. This is all these other rasas involved, and not just service. So it depends on your constitution. What your rasa is in the spiritual world. You'll be happy wherever rasa you're following. You'll be happy with that rasa. If Hanuman is happy to be servant, then because that's what he enjoys doing. So it's possible to enjoy all types of rasa depending on your which is your constitutional rasa. It is transcendental and is completely distinct from our experience in material existence. This relation of servant and served is the most congenial form of intimacy. One can realize it as devotional service progresses. So it takes time to realize that. Everyone should engage himself in the transcendental loving service of the Lord, even in the present conditional state of material existence. That will gradually give one the clue to actual life and please Him to complete satisfaction. So at the moment, we just serve. Our mood should be of a servant or servant of the servant. That should be a mood. So next verse, Vasudeva Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Projitaha Janayati Ashu Vairagyam Jnanam Chayat Ahutikam. So Vasudeva onto Krishna, Bhagavati onto the personality of Godhead, Bhakti Yoga, contact of devotional service, Projitaha, being applied, Janyati, does produce, Ashu, very soon, Vairagyam, detachment, Jnanam, knowledge, Cha, and Yat, that which, Ahevtikyum, causeless. Vasudeva Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Projitha Janayati Ashu Vairagyam Jnanam Cha Yat Ahutikam. Okay, so by rendering devotional service onto the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, one immediately acquires causeless knowledge and detachment from the world. So that's what you get. You get causeless knowledge. Knowledge awakened inside. We have knowledge inside us. It becomes awakened. It's all there. We are Sat, Chit, and Ananda. Chit is there. Sat is there. Ananda is there. It just needs to be awakened. So those who consider devotional service to the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna to be something like material, emotional affairs may argue that in the revealed scriptures, sacrifice, charity, austerity, knowledge, mystic powers, and similar other processes of transcendental realization are recommended. According to them, bhakti or the devotional service to the Lord is meant for those who cannot perform the high grade activities. So they think this service is the lowest position. Generally, it is said that the bhakti cult is meant for the Shudras, like doing hard labor, hard service, Vaishyas, and the less intelligent woman class. So what the Vaishyas say, the Brahmanas don't need to do any kind of service, as the Shudras, Vaishyas, and the women would do. No leg work basically, but that is not the actual fact. The bhakti cult is the topmost of all transcendental activities, and therefore it is simultaneously sublime and easy. It is sublime for the pure devotees who are serious about getting in contact with the Supreme Lord. It is easy for the neophytes who are just on the threshold of the house of bhakti. So anybody can do devotional service at any stage of the bhakti. Just when you just enter it, you will start by doing some work, helping out in some way, even if it's like setting up things at the temple, setting up chairs, whatever. You make a start and you're getting purified, and then you sort of do get more and more responsibility, more and more service. To achieve the contact of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna is a great service, science, and it is open for all living beings, including the Shudras, Vaishyas, women, and even those lower than the low-born Shudras. So what to speak of the high-class men like the qualified Brahmanas and the great self-realized kings or the Kshatriyas. The other high-grade activities designated as sacrifice, charity, austerity are all corollary factors following the pure and scientific bhakti cult. The principles of knowledge and detachment are two important factors on the path of transcendental realization. So knowledge and detachment are two important factors. The whole spiritual process leads to perfect knowledge of everything material and spiritual. And the results of such perfect knowledge are that one becomes detached from material affection and becomes attached to spiritual activities. So that is the first change, as we have discussed before. That is the first change you find as you follow bhakti, as you study the scriptures, as you do your chanting, you find that you start becoming detached from many material things. You no longer have the interest that you had on those things before. Even if you're interested in sleeping, you start losing that interest. You don't sleep as much, and you won't watch TV as much. You won't go out for sense gratification as much. It is automatic, and it's also known that people, stop drinking, they stop smoking, they stop eating meat. This is part of bhakti. You're taking prasad, you're enjoying prasad more than all these other things. So becoming detached from material things does not mean becoming inert altogether, as men with a poor fund of knowledge think. It doesn't make him you become totally numb to everything. Your senses are still working 100%. It's just that your interest change, your view changes, your perception changes to things. But your senses are still there. The eyes can still see, the ears can still hear, the tongue can still taste, good food, everything. Your perception changes. Anyway, Naishikaram means not undertaking activity that will produce good or bad effects. Negation does not mean negation of the positive. Negation of the non-essentials does not mean negation of the essential. Similarly, detachment from material forms does not mean nullifying the positive form. The bhakti cult is meant for realization of the positive form. When the positive form is realized, the negative forms are automatically eliminated. So we don't have to worry about the negative desires, because, as I mentioned, they will automatically start reducing. If they're not, then we have to question where are we going wrong in our bhakti? Is our thinking is not right? Are we doing some kind of offenses? What's going on? But if you concentrate on the positives of what we got to do, the negatives will take care of themselves. So he says, when the positive form is realized, the negative forms are automatically eliminated. Therefore, with the development of bhakti cult, with the application of positive service to the positive form, one naturally becomes detached from inferior things, because you find that they have lower taste, you are more interested in the higher taste. And he becomes attached to superior things. Excuse me. Similarly, the bhakti cult, being the supermost occupation of the living being, leads him out of material sense enjoyment. That is a sign of a pure devotee. Now, this also is like Krishna consciousness is a science, and so it can be tested. It has been tested, has been proven. This is the result you get. You do this experiment, and you get the results. Right? We have a hypothesis. You experiment. This is a hypothesis that negative things will disappear. So you do the experiment, and you will get the result, and that's the science. And everybody here is listening. We have seen that when we come into Krishna consciousness, our interests have changed completely. 180 degrees, as we say. Being the supermost occupational living being leads him out of material sense enjoyment. That is the sign of a pure devotee. He is not a fool, nor is he engaged in the inferior energies, nor does he have material values. This is not possible by dry reasoning. It actually happens by the grace of the Almighty. So in conclusion, one who is a pure devotee has all other good qualities, namely knowledge, detachment, etc. But one who has only knowledge or detachment is not necessarily well acquainted with the principles of bhakti cult. So you could be a jnani with knowledge, or could be somebody who just takes off to the hills or to the forest and is completely detached. But if you don't have knowledge, or why are you doing it, then it's a waste of time. Bhakti is the supermost occupation of the human being. So knowledge and detachment, you need them side by side, not just one or the other. You need them both. So Srila Prabhupada says that jnana means viragya, and viragya cannot be achieved without jnanam. So actual viragya, so we can understand detachment should be under knowledge. Otherwise, it's not proper. It should be like Falgu. It should not be like Falgu Viragya. So Jnanam, I'm not this body, and my relationship with my body, they are not my necessities. This is called Jnana. So that's the Jnana I'm looking for. I'm not this body, and my relationship with my body, they are not my, they are actually, should say they are my necessities, that's all. This is called Jnana. But I'm not this body or this mind. They are just my necessities. And soon as we understand the simple necessities of my body, this is called that, this is a detachment. We become detached when we realize that we're really not this body. So, we, not that we don't take care of it, but we don't remain obsessed with the body. And then it's explained, well, it says if you are engaged 24 hours in devotional service, Krishna from within, he will give all knowledge. So knowledge will come through this knowledge we're looking for. It's comes from within. So Gyan and Viragya automatically becomes revealed onto you. Your duty is only to do your bhakti. Gyan and Viragya automatically revealed. So it also mentions that bhakti is independent. So we got Gyan, we got Viragya. That's what we're getting from bhakti, but we don't get bhakti from Gyan and Viragya. That's one thing we understand. So bhakti, we're getting Gyan and Viragya, not that from Gyan and Viragya we're getting bhakti, but they are important on the progress of bhakti. So Gyan and Viragya are a requirement for bhakti, but they don't give you bhakti. So where do you get bhakti? So Vishwanath Chakrabarti explains, devotee association doesn't give you devotion. It's important to have devotee association to inspire us and to keep us in line. It is one of the stages of 9 stages of bhakti, like Shraddha, so we can get our faith in bhakti from the devotees. And sadhu sangha is very important, keep us in line. Charity doesn't give you bhakti. Things like charity, vows, austerities, selfless duties, they don't give you bhakti. They may be conducive to get you on the path of mode of goodness, because we need to be in mode of goodness to acquire pure goodness, so you can progress into bhakti. So these things, devotee association, charity, these are things which are favorable to our bhakti, but they don't give you bhakti. Lord's mercy also doesn't give you bhakti, because Lord is not partial. In Bhagavad-Gita, Krishna says he's equal to all. Krishna does not give you bhakti. Krishna, this is like you're thinking, wow, what's going on here? So these things don't give you bhakti, because Krishna has to be equal to everyone. He can't give bhakti to some and not give to others. He has to be equal. So Krishna, he won't give you bhakti. An Uttam Adhikari, a pure devotee, he also doesn't give bhakti, because he sees everyone equally. He is not partial either. Bhakti comes from Madhyam Adhikari. Because he is able to distinguish, he is able to give bhakti to those who are devotees or innocent. He is able to make friends with devotees, show compassion to the innocent, and serve the Uttam Adhikari. He is able to give that devotion because it's also in his heart. Ultimate bhakti comes from bhakti. So bhakti comes from bhakti. So somebody who has bhakti and he is able to distinguish between, devotees or the innocent, by compassion, he will give you, he can give you, a devotee can give you bhakti basically. You can get bhakti from a, a devotee who has bhakti in the heart. He can give you, and he wants to give you the bhakti, right? He wants to give you bhakti. By pleasing the spiritual master, pleasing the devotees, pleasing the Lord, then bhakti becomes pleased and you get further devotion. So you have to serve. Again, this is what it's all about. You have to serve the Madhyamadhikari, serve the Madhyamadhikari, serve the Uttamadhikari as well. And then bhakti will automatically come from them. It will pass on to your heart. So that Krishna doesn't give you bhakti is mentioned here. Samaham sarvabhateshu name deveshu stina priya ye bhajanti tu mam bhaktya mai te teshu chapyaham. So I envy no one, nor am I partial to anyone. I am equal to all. But whoever renders service unto me in devotion is a friend, is in me, and I'm also a friend to him. That's Bhagavad-Gita 9.29. And then Srila Prabhupada explains that there are three categories of Vaishnavas: Knishta Adhikari, Madhyam Adhikari, and Uttam Adhikari. The Knishta Adhikari, or the devotee, is in the lowest stage of Vaishnava life, has firm faith, but is not familiar with the conclusions of the Shastras. The devotee in the second stage, the Madhyam Adhikari, is completely aware of the Shastric conclusion and has firm faith in his Guru and the Lord. He therefore, avoiding non-devotees, preaches to the innocent. So the preaching comes from the Madhyam Adhikari. However, the Mahabhagavata or the Uttam Adhikari, the devotee is in the high stage of life, does not see anyone as being against the Vaishnava principles, for he regards everyone as Vaishnava but himself. This is the essence of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instruction, that one be more tolerant than a tree and think oneself lower than the straw in the street. However, even if a devotee is in the Uttam Bhagavat status, he must come down to the second status of life. So even Uttam Adhikari have to bring themselves down to Madhyam Adhikari to become a preacher. For a preacher should not tolerate blasphemy against another Vaishnava. So whereas the Uttam Adhikari sees everyone equal, they have to bring themselves down to Madhyam Adhikari to be a preacher. And there's more information on that in Chaitanya Charitamrita 1751 purport. So if you want to check that, you can look in there. And then it's explained that real kindness means that you must serve the jiva souls by preaching Krishna consciousness. This was the instructions of Mahaprabhu, that real kindness. So jiva daya, right? Real kindness means that you must serve the jiva souls by preaching Krishna consciousness to them and turning their illusion minds towards the service of Krishna. So Srila Prabhupada said that we should at least be Madhyam Adhikaris. It's very important to come to that level that you've understood the Shastric knowledge, and then it's our duty then to pass it on, give bhakti to others. So acquire that bhakti within us in the heart, and then pass it on when you're doing book distribution, when we are preaching online, offline. We have to reach the level of Madhyam Adhikari and then share that. We can do that, right? We can be partial. Okay? We can be Madhyam Adhikari, he can be partial. He's allowed to be partial. So we can give bhakti to others who want it. Sometimes we try and give it to people who even don't want it. And Krishna says in Bhagavad-Gita that don't waste your time. But Madhyam Adhikari, he still goes and tries to give it to everyone. So Nam Ruchi. So Jiva Daya, Nam Ruchi. This is our duties. So we give Jiva Daya by preaching to them. And then, but we must do our Nam Ruchi as well. We must chant the Hare Krishna mantra without offense. That's our aim. And Vaishnav Seva. We simply serve the Vaishnavas as well. These three things. Serving the Vaishnavas, chanting offenselessly, and giving bhakti to the jivas. So we have a big responsibility that we have to do, because this is where bhakti comes from. It's our duty to learn the knowledge and then help other people to acquire the knowledge and start their devotional service. And when they start serving, bhakti will be pleased and they will get more bhakti by pleasing bhakti. So one who is serving the Lord and his associates and devotees 24 hours a day is a Vaishnav, and you must serve them. This is the meaning of Vaishnav Seva. If you cannot do that, so if you serve, then you will have no problem. A man may go to the jungle and chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, but that chanting is not proper chanting. Better than chanting is service to the Vaishnav. So Vaishnav Seva, Nam Ruchi, and Jiva Daya. These are the three things Mahaprabhu recommended that we do, because Mahaprabhu says that, I can't do this alone. Even he's God, but he's saying, look, I need my agents to go out there and give this bhakti to everyone. So it's our duty to share this knowledge and share the bhakti, share the devotion, let it rub off on other people. I hope I have been able to make some kind of sense. It's it takes some understanding. Even for me, I'm trying to get my head around it. But yeah, so if you are preaching, if you are listening, reading, and you're trying to chant by controlling your mind, then you're on the right track. You're serving the devotees. When the sannyasis come, we serve them. Or any of the devotee, we serve them to best of our capacity. Then yes, then you're on the right track. That's the idea here. So thank you so much for joining. Maybe you can explain to me. We have people here who know better than me, and we'll start with Saraswati Mataji. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Very nice, very nice. Gives a lot of knowledge, this Bhagavata. And to my understanding, we are part and parcel of Krishna. So we should always think that we are eternal servant of Krishna, and my only duty and my dharma is another word for dharma is Sanatan Dharma. Sanatan means eternal. My eternal dharma is to do service to the Lord, and devotional service to be performed without furtive motives. A lot of people that just do for that the material gain, but we should do it for Krishna, to please Krishna. There are two kinds of devotees. One pray for self-gratification. They want this, I want that, I want that. And then the other one plays for the satisfaction of Krishna, to satisfy Krishna and for the love of Krishna. This world is full of misery, suffering. One should try to get out by taking shelter of the Supreme Lord and by taking His name. Because this material enjoyment is temporary and it's miserable and it doesn't last. When you die, it finishes. But devotional service is eternal. You are getting benefit here, and you taking your devotional service with you. Because it is eternal. And by doing devotional service to the Lord, one gets the knowledge. Then Krishna gives you from within the knowledge and how to get detached from this material world. And the bhakti is very top. If bhakti is higher than the sacrifice, charity, austerity, mystic powers. So if you do bhakti, all comes in it. Krishna consciousness the only means of being delivered from the clutches of this contaminated material world. Before, people used to follow this varna ashram dharma, and they used to follow the dharma, how to please Krishna. They follow the varna, brahman, kshatriya, shudra, and then brahmachari, grihastha, and sannyasis. But nowadays in Kali Yuga, they don't follow the varna ashram. And the only thing we can do is devotional service to the Lord. And it is the proper dharma. And Krishna says, after all the dharmas he gave, and then in the end he says to Arjuna, Sarva dharman patejek mamek sharam braja, aham tuasar pape bhojanokshami shmasita. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender to me. I shall deliver you from all sinful resistance. Do not fear. That means about all the dharmas, the top of the superior dharma is devotional service to the Lord. And that's because we are thinking of our next life. And what we do in this material will be here, and then we have to be born again and again. But if you do proper dharma is to save Krishna and to save Vaishnavas, to save spiritual master, to save the book, to do everything spiritual. That is our dharma. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Very lovely, beautifully explained by Mataji. Yes, I think the divine path is very clearly illustrated in the Bhagavatam, that there is lots of dharmas, but there is one supreme dharma, and that is the service and the devotion towards divinity. And our lives have been taken up by the transitory and temporary happiness of the material world. And that's why sometimes a lot of dharmas overlap in terms of what we do in our lives. There are some key roles that men and women fulfill, but we live in a world which is a confused world. We live in the Kali Yuga where right is wrong and wrong is right. And sometimes things people do becomes fashionable in that they follow certain things that they see in the Western culture and they think that's the way to go. But they're not following their instincts or their pure spiritual supreme dharma. The sages of Dharmasharanya were very clear that for the age of Kali, time is short. So please explain to us the essence of the spiritual knowledge. We haven't got time to go through all the Vedas, the Upanishads, etc., just the key elements. And it clearly indicates that it is, if you're fixated with the material world, it's temporary enjoyment. If you go for the spiritual drive, that will give you eternal satisfaction. Satisfaction which will give you an element of bliss, understanding, and a knowledge that, there is no need for all the trappings that the material world offers you, time and time again. And that devotional service will help us remove some of those unwanted desires. Desires will come and go. That is the fleeting nature of our existence in our lives. Desires, we have to put a ceiling on, or we become a gatekeeper to those desires. Too many desires will create difficulties, dissonance, and overload the brain. Simple living, higher thinking. Simple desires, higher realization with divinity. It's simple. We choose to weave very complicated spiders webs in our lives. Simplify things, basic needs, and the knowledge, the attitudes, the behaviors, all these things will change. Our views, our perceptions will change, our attitudes will change, and some of the negative anarthas will drop off like the leaves do in autumn. We don't have a desire to watch too much TV. We may not have a desire to go and watch football matches. We may not have desires to go to the pub anymore because we are now fixated on a journey which is more fulfilling internally and even externally, because we impart that knowledge, information, and wisdom to others by virtue of our association. So, this Vaishnava service or Vaishnava Seva and Nam Ruchi are the key to the bhakti that we are trying to enhance in our lives. Hare Krishna.
It's also absolutely. He obviously spoke on that with the knowledge and come past and time helping other people. Even Lord Chaitanya said, go out and preach and help others to get this. So, we spend that time in helping. And we still use things, not like Falgu, but as Yukta, Viragya. There's many things we can still use, by using intelligence that, we're not trying to use something or do something that we're doing and get stuck or get wrong association. It's not like you can say, oh, now I can still go to the pub, but instead of drinking alcohol, I'll go and preach to them. That's going to happen, right? So yeah, I guess we need to use our intelligence that some things we just avoid. Some things we just need to keep away from that are unfavorable to our bhakti, but many things we can still do and use them. I mean, when we're traveling, carry Bhagavad-Gitas and just get into conversation with somebody, even in a hotel, get in conversation with people, give them, so I guess you have to be smart about it and make sure, you don't get caught out by Maya. It's like the brahmachari is going to ladies' hostels or whatever programs, thinking that they can preach to them. Srila Prabhupada said, no, it's too dangerous. You can't, brahmacharis can't do that. So you have to be very careful. So we have to be mindful of Maya. We preach, we help others, become detached. At the same time, remain mindful that Maya doesn't, because Maya will try to attack, especially if you are, you are the enemy. You are taking away its market share. So it's going to attack you. So you have to be careful that you protect yourself. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Deepa Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Uh, Not a lot from me, obviously, because I'm not that learned as all the other attendees are, but a couple of things. One, I feel that, we are in an age of AI nowadays. And what I sometimes normally do is, let's say that I've received a very lengthy report spanning 70, 80 pages. So I just export into AI and asked AI to summarize it. As you were in explaining the verses and explaining the answer to the first question, I was thinking that, so many, many years ago, this is what the sages have done. So they realized that Kali Yuga is coming, and the people of Kali Yuga, they won't have that much time. We started watching WhatsApp videos. We used to love WhatsApp videos, 5 minutes, 6 minutes, 10 minutes. And nowadays, nobody watches WhatsApp videos because, our attention span has shortened so much. We all like shorts. We all like TikTok, which is 5, 10 seconds, 15 seconds. That's it. Even many a times, if I receive a WhatsApp video and if it says that it's 5 minutes, 6 minutes, whatever the topic is, 99% I just skip through. I don't watch it. And I think that this task of AI has been done by the sages. And the first question obviously was that what is the absolute ultimate truth for us? And the first question's answer is ultimate absolute truth is Krishna and Krishna's bhakti. There you go. So, no, all the essence, the cream of all the things, of all the scriptures, the cream of Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh concepts in our mind has been answered in the very first answer to the question. It is Krishna Bhakti. We had a canopy installed at our house on the back side of the garden. And on the canopy, there is a skylight to let some light in into the rooms as well. So obviously, over a period of time, it had kind of been covered with mold and some things like that, mud and everything. So yesterday, I went onto the roof and I was trying to clean it, and it took a lot of effort to clean that skylight. And I was thinking, yeah, the thing is that I mean, our minds have become like this, so much polluted with the materialistic desires and materialistic things in and around us. But like the rain keeps on falling and mudding the skylight occasionally, you know, and what we have to do is keep on cleaning it so that the light is actually entering into our mind, actually entering into our soul. And I have realized this thing myself. So I've always been very fond of watching movies and keeping late at night and watching TV and everything. So that I mean, I just feel that after a very strenuous day at work, when you're watching some telly or watching some movie, it just kind of relaxes your mind. Of late, what I have noticed since the time that I've started reading Bhagavatam and the Krishna book and the Bhagavad-Gita is that taste has it's kind of it's almost gone now. I wouldn't say it's 100% gone, but it's almost going. So the other day I was sitting, my wife and my daughter and my mom, they all went upstairs and they said, and I said, okay, you go, and I just want to watch some TV. And I was for 45 minutes to 1 hour, you wouldn't believe it. The only thing that I did was skip through channels. I would watch something for 5 minutes. Nah, not good. I would watch something for 5 minutes. No, let's move to something else. Let's move for something else. A movie or a serial or a simple drama or a documentary or discovery. I must have tried a lot of things. Then I just put the phone in the remote away and then I picked up Krishna book. As soon as I picked up Krishna book and started reading it, no, the internal voice said, yes, this was what is required. Can't explain the feeling that I felt at that moment. So definitely Krishna Bhakti is a science and it works. It is cleaning the dirty skylight which has engulfed our brains and mind and everything. And hopefully one day we'll be able to keep it more cleaner. Hare Krishna Guruji.
Thank you so much for sharing. Absolutely, it does work. I mean, you have you can see how many people in Iskcon, nationalities. Sometimes they seem to be involved in it and more happier, and to see them, they seem to be like progressing more. So there is something there. It's things sold out to us. How much effort we put into it, how much sincerity, enthusiasm we put into it, and the result. We see the result, we feel the result. It's definitely something that we cannot give up at any price, right? Something that it doesn't matter what temptation is there, or what we feel that we're missing out on. Nothing is worth this higher taste. And we pray, even Srila Prabhupada used to pray that please, don't let me get, let me be taken away from what I have. And this should be our prayer as well, that prayer that please don't let Maya catch us out, because Maya is ready and waiting, and he knows your weaknesses as well, and it will try. But we have to remain strong. That's why we need association. Collectively, we are strong. So we have to hold on to each other, help each other. Thank you. Okay, Praveen Mataji, I think just listening today, and Hina Mataji, I think she started work now, and so Radharani.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, everyone. A beautiful whatever we have been accumulating life after life in our hearts as desires. Well, we need to have desires as living beings. That is what differentiates us from the matter. Because we are conscious, so we will have desires. So the desires have to be, we have to be careful after, so much association and so much of knowledge given to us. And as the Prabhu was saying, Deepak Prabhu was saying, AI has been given at this point of time to us. I think because we are in the golden age of bhakti now. So this is the right time. Krishna has given us all the tools at the right moments. At this moment, Krishna thought, well, this is how I think, that Krishna thinks that this is the right moment. These people were given internet before. They have used and abused. Some have used it for the right mission for bhakti, and others have abused it. We have seen all around us. And AI has come. The devotees can use it for their higher purpose, to sift through what they have learned, to help them, to enable them in their mission of learnings and eventually progressing on the path of bhakti. So everything is there, the tools are there, everything is given to us. We have to remember these three things told to us by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Jivedaya, Namaruchi, and Vaishnav Seva. These are three very important pillars. Like we have four regulations, like we have the processes, 9 processes of bhakti, plus we have these three things which we have to imbibe in all our behavior, in all our circumstances, in all our dealings in our life. Then only we'll be able to do bhakti. And like Srila Prabhupada wanted us to do, as Srila Prabhupada was such a exalted devotee, and still he would pray. He would say to even his disciples that they would ask Prabhupada, what do you pray in front of the deities? Prabhupada would say, I'm always praying that, Lord, never make me fall down. Fall down to who? Fall down to in front of mine. Because he was surrounded by young disciples, and those young disciples were doing all kinds of things which were totally different from how Prabhupada was raised in India. But see how he molded them instead, those young, those impressionable minds who were doing all sorts of nonsense, and brought them from, literally from, the kind of, the lowest of the rungs to the highest, and they became sannyasis and big preachers who are, many of them are still around with us. So we have to serve them and listen. Listening is also service. What they are telling us, what they have learned from Srila Prabhupada as his direct in his direct association. So yeah, these three things are the key point for me today. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So thank you all so much for sharing, and let's learn together, and we'll carry on Monday. Thank you so much. Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Gaur Hare Hare Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.